Today we're going to talk about brand loyalty. There's lots of good reasons for it, but there's a dark side to it as well. So stay tuned. Cooper and I are going to tell you all the pitfalls if you are loyal to only one brand. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We are here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, make sure to visit our Teespring store below for custom designed t-shirts like this one that I'm wearing. You can also support us by buying stuff from our store. Feel free to do that as well. So today, we're talking about brand loyalty. And if there is one place that can support that, you can be loyal to Alamo Music Center. Shameless plug insert here. But in all seriousness, I really want to discuss this, and I want to get Cooper's take on it. I saw some disturbing things this past week on social media, and we've honestly seen a lot of disturbing things on social media in the past few weeks. It's like people have pandemic brain, but there's some things in regards to guitars specifically that have been there for a long, long time, and I think it should be discussed. And you guys are shortchanging yourselves. I'm going to tell you why. But let's talk about the good side of it first of all. So, are you loyal to any brands? Do you have brand loyalty, sir?
I think I do. I think if anything, I'm a Fender.
Got the
first
bumper
and
sticker
foremost.
on
Yeah,
the back
everything.
of the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm a Fender fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but any other brands kind of float your boat?
Yeah. Chevrolet. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a Ford guy.
I mean, luckily being here and being around all these guitars all day, I find something that I like with all of them. But truly, like I've had other stuff. I've had Gibsons, I've had Taylors, and I've sold most of them to buy more Fenders. But I respect everyone.
We're all respectful of everybody. We love everybody. It's funny though that we even brought up trucks. This extends far beyond guitars, right? You're a Chevy guy. I'm a Ford guy. My truck's nicer than your truck. Their trucks because it's Texas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just stopped you from debating the
whatever.
point.
We can dive into that. It's our other channel.
We're going to talk about trucks and towing and all sorts of fun stuff. But you know, hey, Coke and Pepsi, it exists. Android and Apple. I mean, you can look at any segment of consumer products, and there's brand loyalty, and it exists for a reason. All of these companies have a vested interest in getting you, the consumer, to be loyal to their brand. So a lot of marketing kind of goes into making you feel that the company cares about you, they're producing products for you, and in a lot of cases, particularly when it comes to musical instruments, I can say, knowing a lot of these companies and the people there and the people that founded and run them, that's real, that's legit. They really do care about musicians and putting out instruments for you. But you have to know that there's a part to this desire to kind of keep you in that ecosystem. And what are some of the things that you think influence or create brand loyalty? Like why are you brand loyal to Fender?
I think a lot of it comes down to when you're first starting out, you look at your favorite guitarist and you see what they're playing and you're like, well, I mean, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm going to play Strats forever or what, you know. Also, maybe if it's a bad time for a certain brand, they're making stuff that's not so good, you get turned off, and you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it starts like when you start playing, or even before then. You know, kind of your idea of a concept of a brand. You know.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on all of those things. You know, we see comments on these videos, and if you shared one of these comments. Good.
We read them.
We read them. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, this guy is just a Taylor shill," right? Like I'm just all about Taylor guitars. And then we'll see other comments like, "This guy totally, you can tell he only likes Martin guitars." And to those I say, yes. You know, I think it's funny. If you can't tell, then I'm doing my job. But I like them all. You know, truthfully, I really do like them all. And to your point about what builds a brand loyalty, I think a lot of it deals with aesthetically, what you like. Does a company make things that intrigue you? Do they make products that are high quality in your opinion? Because, you know, it's surprising to say that, but for some people, something that is perfect fit and finish is required, and for others, There's other aspects to it that they value more highly. But there's a part of brand loyalty that's weird to me, and that's the brand loyalty that exists before you ever have experience with a product. And we see this in families, right? Usually, like with trucks we're talking about, usually your dad was a Chevy guy, so you're a Chevy guy, right? We see this in guitars, particularly with a historic brand, like with Martin guitars, which is why we're holding Martin and Taylor, right? They're the two big cheeses in acoustic guitar manufacturing. There are so many times that I hear people say, I want a Martin. My dad had a Martin. My uncle had a Martin. My grandfather had a Martin. And someday I want to own a Martin. It's ingrained in the familial structure, and it's something that they want to have. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's interesting to hear that from people who maybe never have actually laid hands on a Martin guitar. And then we get to the downside, the dark side of it, and this is where this idea to discuss this came from. I was on a Martin group, and there was on Facebook, and there was a photo that was funny, and it was a meme making fun of Taylor not being big in the bluegrass world, and it's not. It's Martin, Gibson are the two primary guitars. You might see Collings and Bourgeois and some others, but Martin's pretty much king when it comes to bluegrass. And it was funny. I thought it was hilarious because it's by and large true. But then what happened in that is certain people having like a dramatically aggressive stance toward Taylor or toward any other builder that didn't say CF Martin up on the headstock. And that's where I think the downside is to that. So I'm going to ask you, you mentioned this earlier about respecting other companies. What happens if you embrace brand loyalty kind of in this aggressive negative fashion?
So maybe I'm like a huge Martin guy, and then I put my hands on a Taylor that sounds and feels amazing and everything. Why not just dive in? You might have some emotional hang up to where it prevents you from experiencing something new and interesting.
Yeah. I think it goes back to making assumptions.
Yeah.
And you know what they say about assumptions? We can't say because it's on YouTube, but when you make assumptions, particularly based on something like brand loyalty, you are in effect cutting yourself off from a lot of other options out there. And I'm not saying that because I think every Martin bluegrass player should go and experience a Taylor. I think, to my point earlier about brand loyalty, there are certain aspects to the fit and the aesthetic choice, viewpoint of it, to the sound. All of those things influence them and inform their opinion of what they like. And that's fine. But you should be open to experience things. And if you are, like I am, and I think like you are, a true guitar guy, it doesn't really matter if it says Fender or G&L on the headstock or Gibson or PRS. And for the benefit of you guys out there in the audience, I own a bunch of different brands. I own Fender and Gibson and Martin and Taylor and PRS, which we don't even carry in the store, but they are amazing guitars, and I own one. And Cordoba and Yamaha and all sorts of stuff because I like these guitars. I like these instruments. And so I think it's a conversation. Maybe right now we're in this atmosphere of just kind of opening our eyes and broadening our horizons. And so when it comes to guitars, I want to encourage everybody who's watching to understand what brand loyalty is. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a real dark side to it where it becomes aggressive, where you're yelling at people on social media and you're saying something is crap because it says a particular name on the headstock. And if there's anything that I've tried to prove on this channel repeatedly is that, one, guitars should be taken for what they are because they're amazing instruments. Every single one of these manufacturers and the people involved in these companies pretty much care about these products when they're high quality, high build products. Chris Martin, Bob Taylor are great friends. They're friends with Jean Larrivee. They were great friends with the late Bill Collings. There's this community there, and as musicians, we're making music. It should be something that's positive, something that we embrace, something that we can really enjoy across the spectrum, not simply based upon what it happens to say on the headstock or on the inside label. And to that point, I'd also like to say that what we should do, the other downside to brand loyalty is this. You're holding a custom shop HD28, and that is kind of quintessential Martin, right?
Yeah.
But let's let Martin build some more modern guitars, shall we? Let's let them experiment and do what they do best. Let's let Gibson, short of robotic tuners, create some stuff that's more modern. Let's let them grow as companies and not be so fiercely brand loyal that it has to always look like this and this is the only thing that's good.
Yeah, and to that, I think maybe Martin and Taylor, with fandom and everything, have taken on this old school and new school thing. When we've seen this year, Martin putting out some interesting new choices with the SE13, and Taylor has been around much longer than I think a lot of people give him.
Well, there are now vintage Taylors at this point. And you know, what's funny is some of the Taylor's latest designs are more vintage or old school looking, you know, and feeling and informed. So yeah, you know, it's guitars at the end of the day, man. Let's play guitars, let's enjoy guitars, let's stop fighting on social media about whose neck is longer on the guitar. And let's just enjoy them for what they are, regardless. And let's be open to try things. Best thing ever. You were in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
You go into like Grunes or into Carter's, and you pick up some brand that you've always read about but never played, and you're blown away by some guitar. It's a cool feeling.
So something also that can inspire some sort of loyalty when you're first buying a higher quality instrument is the price for something that's kind of entry level. Say standard Stratocaster is going to run a lot less than a standard Les Paul. But something interesting to think about is that every brand, every high quality brand, especially that we carry in the store, has a well priced entry level instrument that's of a certain high quality, you know. So you can't really go wrong with, you know, Taylor Academy Series 100, 200 series, or a Martin Road Series or something like, you know, they've all got something that can be affordable and let you kind of have a little more choice in what kind of style you want based on like a certain price point that you want to, you know, get into. So
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's actually part of the process, right? They want to build brand loyalty. If you have a good quality low-end product or lower price product and someone buys that and they have a good experience with it, they're more likely to buy the same product when they go up to a higher end model. So it's all part of the plan, and there's nothing wrong with the plan. There's nothing nefarious going on or anything like that, you know. But at the end of the day, there's some really good reasons to inform brand loyalty. There are really good reasons to support a company. You know, I think Martin, their history, their commitment to quality, their innovations in designing acoustic guitars, there's a lot there to love and to support. Taylor's innovations, constantly striving to make new stuff, their commitment to the environment and, you know, wood conservation, those are all good things to love. Gibson's history, their, you know, renewed efforts at quality, their, this is kind of, you kind of alluded to it, but right, I think there were a lot of Gibson fans that left, you know, kind of said, okay, the company's not making good product. And that's the point. See, this is part of this, right? If you are blindly loyal to a brand, if that company starts to suffer from poor leadership or quality issues, you should call them out. You should vote with your dollar, right? And you should not support a bad product simply because it has a name on it. But if that company turns around and they start making a really good product and it's, again, aesthetically it fits your bill, the feel, the sound, everything, then you should support that product renewed. You shouldn't not buy it because they had bad history or because, you know, you love this Les Paul but it doesn't say Fender on it. You know, that kind of situation. So hopefully this conversation is helpful. Manufacturers probably hate when we have conversations like this because honestly it's peeling back the curtains a little bit on, you know, what they're doing from a marketing standpoint and what the plans are. But at the end of the day, again, we're musicians, and I think it's great to support good companies, and it's not great to support bad companies for bad reasons, and it's not great to not support good companies for bad reasons. That's all clear as mud. So anyways, let us know what you think below. Are you fiercely loyal to a brand? If so, what is that brand? And have you ever found yourself second guessing? Because we've seen here in the store, right? Someone come in to buy a Martin, for instance, and walk out with a Taylor. Or vice versa. Someone come in to buy a Taylor and walk out with a Martin or Gibson or Yamaha, Red Label, you know, something that surprised them with its quality. So have you ever been surprised? Have you ever bought something that you promised you swore to yourself you never would? Are you a Ford or a Chevy guy? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, the other button works as well. And we'd like you to subscribe, turn on notifications follow us. Also, feel free to go over to our Instagram page where we're going to be putting some unique content on there. If you'd like information on any of these guitars, go to our website. It's alamomusic.com. We'll chat with you live and help you find the perfect guitar, because regardless of brand name, at the end of the day, the best guitar in the world is
The one that you're making music on.
boom, there it is. Mic drop, but I'm wearing it. We'll see you next time.